running around and pretending to be unconsolable. Yeah, why? There has to be a reason why the fuck you're crying, and it has nothing to do with Janie wants you to think after the fact, like months after the fact. She's had time to think about it. Oh, this was the reason. Oh, the Jays lost in 12 innings. Oh shit. Yeah, contagious like yawning, puking. Daniel said when they weren't brother and sister, they were like best friends. Best friends who continuously beat each other with Tonka trucks. That never happened. I don't believe it.
I'm telling you guys, if you don't believe me, that's your problem or your opinion. If you want to give a comment, I am all done with this once I...
So talk about a contrast right there. That's your problem and your opinion. That's a veiled threat, really. That's just like, listen, you can't have both ways. There's no point in even bringing it up in the first place then. If you're going to take both sides of the argument, you can't have both sides. You talk about it because you're on one side or the other. She wants to be everything to everybody. She's avoiding any sort of linguistic commitment to anything, to the point she can't stop. She can't stop. She needs somebody to stop for her. Just accidentally hang up the phone and that's it. Don't say anything else. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine her karaoke singing Total Eclipse of the Heart? She's got that perfect rasp. Or Call Me by Blondie, tambourine. I don't know. I could probably see more like... Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies.
Talk to you guys.
Fuck Your Warrants. You know that song? Google Fuck Your Warrants by Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. That's probably Janie's best bet of a career that way. I think they're twins.
No, I thought everything was going well with Daniel and Malaya. I have never seen them fight. I've never really seen them arguing. When I was in there, I'm not sure about what happens when I'm not there, as I told the reporters, and I'm telling you guys, I live in the RV, they live in the trailer. I let them have their personal space, they let me have my personal space. The only difference I seen in Malaya that day of the disappearance is when I saw her outside and she was standing there holding Meadow, and I had to ask her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lily were missing, and I asked her how long. That's the only behavior difference that I've seen in Malaya.
But there was one problem with the script. The people in the script didn't act as though the time frames... Again, it's so basically simple in this sense. But on the surface, look, you're telling me that Malaya's standing out there with Meadow on her hip, staring off into space, telling you that the kids are definitely missing when you don't know where the kids are, or you're not supposed to know where the kids are in the first place. So you told us in the statement that you already know something happened to the kids. You can't put the horse before the cart. And it's only been 20 minutes. When even her statement to the police on the dispatch contradicts that by an hour and a half. Just more empty space in the timeline. in the hours and minutes leading up to your call to RCMP. And by your call, I mean all three of you lumped into one there. In my opinion, at that point, Malaya knew exactly what it was that she had to say to the RCMP and everybody else. So from that point on, she's guilty of conspiring and an accessory to the conspiracy to cover up. Whatever Daniel did to the kids. Both children. 2 children. Michelle Mybell, whoa, did you hear that leakage? She said, no, I thought everything was going good between Daniel and Justin. Then covered, said Malaya, first time I noticed this. Is that right? I didn't catch that. That's interesting. You heard that as well, Anne? Or Annette? Whatever happened, it messed Justin up. Debbie's saying. Whatever happened, it messed Justin up. They probably got him into whatever they did, you know, for his family or mama. Well, yeah, he probably sees all the red flags as well. Maybe he's normal and he's desperately trying to stay away from the suspects in this because he knows too much. Who knows? We don't know. Tammy Worley, she's a control freak. She thought because Malaya lived on her land, she could control her and the kids. Her land, her rules. I believe that as well. But I think it gets a lot worse than that because it's easy to armchair quarterback. It's almost illuminating the obvious in this sense. Not that we're doing anything wrong. It's a good reminder because they're not representing it as life actually was from the standpoint of Jack and Lily and Malaya. Now, you guys caught it, Callie? You wonder if Daniel and Justin had a fight? Yeah, Daniel's a no-go zone for Justin. Maybe he was... maybe he's asking too many of the right questions. Who knows at this point in time? He has to be kept at arm's length because he's not in the loop.
Except for this time that the altercation happened at the end of the driveway, which I have no knowledge about. I didn't...
No, nothing. She's got no knowledge about the altercation that she was involved in at the end of the driveway, but she's going to proceed to tell us all about the altercation in a different manner.
Listen to what I just went up to her and said, please don't tell... She was crying. I said, please don't tell me that Jack and Lily are dead. And then as I said, hey...
Think about that. She comes running up to Malaya and suggests that there's death involved with Jack and Lily at this point in time. Not tell me that you found them. Tell me that you found the kids. What's going on? Like, you guys couldn't even sit down, you said, and have a conversation. Now she's calling you on the phone. She called you for a reason, but she can't talk to you over the phone. Not even sure about how you guys are portraying this.
And her friend, I think it was Shelby, I can't be 100% sure, started saying stuff. I wasn't in the mood to listen to arguments. I didn't want to fight because whatever was going on had nothing to do with Jack and Lily.
How do you know? How do you know? You shouldn't even be in the know as to what happened to Jack and Lily. But why is she putting herself in that position again? She's putting herself in a position of knowledge, having guilty knowledge in this sense, dictating what's relevant to whatever happened at that point in time to Jack and Lily. But they're coming from a place of already knowing. And that comes through, and it's unintentional. It comes through their lies and deception. Because at the end of the day, your statements don't make sense in relation to the case that's going on. No matter how much information you know about what's going on or not, it doesn't make your statements any more meaningful. They're absolutely meaningless. Filled with double negatives and double talk.
That's when I ordered them off the property. The police came. I gave my statement of what I've done. Other than that, that's the only difference that I've seen in Malaya's whatever you call it, the personality or whatever she changes. Sorry, in Malaya was that day. Now, this is me, myself. If my children were missing in the woods, or if somebody has taken them, I would be so hysterical. I would be running around, screaming and hollering, looking everywhere, crying, just like a normal person would be, that a mother. You can't tell me that you carry a child for 9 months and something happens to them.
Maybe Daniel's the one who got into Janie's rugs. You guys think of that? That's how he got hooked. Because he was dipping into Janie's medicine cabinet. And it just happened to be an illicit medicine cabinet.
That you're not going to get hysterical and you're not going to be crying and screaming and everything. Well, tell me. I would be. And another thing, I'm going to tell you something now.
She's just so eager for everybody. She's trying to put onto everybody this judgment, and then turning around and saying, don't judge me like I just judged Malaya several times in this statement. Nobody's here to judge. We judge your honesty. That's fair. Has nothing to do with judging anybody in this point in time. And why would you be afraid of judgment in that sense? Look at what you're fucking living in. You don't like to be judged, and you keep bringing up that particular term, but that's exactly what you're doing to Malaya and putting that onto everybody else like it's a normal thing. You sit this woman down in an interview room, you best be prepared to make some arrests afterwards. You can't just have it where you're going to pull them in on a Tuesday and see what they say and come to a determination. When you come in the second time, you already have, and you're anticipating that they're not going home. As an officer, as a detective, you know what your direction is going to be. You know why you're pressing them, because you're blowing apart their story, and that's going to happen in a matter of hours at some point in time. When all of the pieces that they talked about come together and the information comes together to paint a more complete picture of the picture they've already referenced, that's when that time will be. All of our current trauma and frustration is centric around simply the fact that most of us are happy not knowing the law. And unfortunately, once you get to learn it a little bit and the reasons why, you feel a little better as to why there haven't been straight up arrests yet in this sense. It's out of our control because the guilty parties, the people that are responsible, are one, lying and trying to cover up their tracks and have covered up any smoking gun direct evidence that they're culpable in this. So they're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Doesn't mean they're not going to do it, but it's going to end up just like Trezell and Jacqueline. They'll come picking them up, and like I said, it's going to be with the SWAT team. If they ever, that's my fantasy. I should correct myself. It's probably going to happen when they sit down for an interview and question Janie, because Janie's not going to have anything that makes any sense to the rational or the rationale behind the things that she's publicly stated. Everything that she has said is going to be used against her. Everything. whether it was directly to the RCMP or to the CBC at this point or online. It's going to be used against her, and she doesn't have any context because it's all a bullshit story. She knows she's fucking lying. They gave Janie just enough rope, and that's what she's done. And she's done it her way. Tambourine says, Annette, I found it interesting in the pictures from the garage fire. You mean from Kent's? There was an RV that looked like Janie's in the parking lot. KC probably sent it over there for parts, in my opinion, allegedly. That's really interesting and funny. Doesn't surprise me. Kent's probably puked all over the inside of that RV multiple times. Well, they've got to coax Malaya in building that case against Daniel in that sense. I think they're hoping that they get more information in the long run and build just a rapport with Malaya that's going to be beneficial to her no matter what. Like, even though she has a history and there's going to be a lot of armchair quarterbacking about all of the things that she could have done, nobody deserves the way that she was treated, and Jack and Lily didn't deserve what happened to them. And that was in full control of Daniel and Janie. I don't like it any more than anybody else does. But you can see exactly the type of treatment that Malaya, they're not even trying to hide it. Think about the things that we don't know. Think about all of the shit talk that they say to the people in their lives behind Malaya's back. And, you know, Malaya and the kids are centric to all of the problems on that particular household on Garlock Road there. Money, where they're living, how they're going to pay for it, what they're going to be doing. They've got a new baby. A new baby is expensive, even when you don't have any money. Let alone you try to keep up with society. Problem with what Malaya walked into is it's a difficult situation because she's probably being promised the world from Daniel, and she gets absolutely no help. She doesn't get any help from fucking Daniel, nothing from Janie. In fact, worse, she gets called all of these names and treated like a second-class citizen. How long is this going to fucking go on for? That's really weighing on what and how her outlook is on the future. Daniel doesn't think it's right. He thinks it's okay to blend families from chicks that you meet on Facebook dating. Shack up with them almost instantly. Completely disregard the kids. You're blending a family. You're walking into somebody else's family in that sense as a single person, Daniel. You don't walk in and try to control the scenario, but you did, and that's where Meadow comes in. You've got her pregnant now. You think that her priorities need to be in a certain place, as though you're Mr. Judge telling her just how much she let Jack and Lily fall by the wayside. And in the same breath, tell everybody how much of a special bond you and Jack and Lily have, and that you're the only one that they listen to. Such a deviant thing to say. You're a degenerate, a weirdo, a person who doesn't value the family sect. It's like listening to the devil. Oh, Robin, listen. Fuck, I couldn't even imagine. Who could live in that RV when it looks nothing more than a meth lab? When did she decide to renovate? And what did she do? She had to get rid of most of the stuff because it was rotten. You have to get rid of the shit that's breaking down inside. So it's a big space. She put a fucking wood stove in there, and that's fine. It probably stinks. Stinks to high heaven. You know how that old car smells? Think about it with all kinds of like decades old of mold and mildew and trapped moisture. Nicotine stains in there from fucking 1984. Dog piss, dog shit, fermented. Not to mention the rats are breeding in the fucking walls. Got rat placenta stinking up the joint.
I have nothing to say about that. I'm just here to tell the truth. I want Lily and Jack found, and that's all I want. Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline, and we were going through an old road, and we seen Daniel, and Daniel got on the bike, and he sat on front of the bike until we get back to the pipeline.
She goes into this huge, extravagant story. Only like, oh, he said this, I said this, only to tell you like the people just said no. Like there's no sense in going through this whole uneventful story if there was no point to it in the first place. If the people just said no, you know, there's a much easier way to get your point across rather than have just stood there for like what seemed like 3 minutes to listen to Janie tell the CBC what she did out there in the bush when Daniel was coming through the back and he asked her if he saw the kids. Well, do you see the fucking kids around, bitch? No. Self-answering question. Stupid. Think about all. I walked up to Malaya, said, "What's up?" Like, what? Get the fuck out of here. First of all, Janie is the type to be screaming from the RV. Probably took her from one of her games of Candy Crush. What's going on out there? Keep it down. You just going to come out and walk up to somebody in a friendly manner, a person that you despise, and say, "What's up? What's up, Buttercup?" What, like this is another episode of Friends? 90210, maybe Melrose Place? I used to love Melrose Place back in the 90s.
And we dropped him off with some of his friends, and then Justin and I took off back home. So Daniel was on the bike.
Oh, Brandy, Linda, you're not kidding.
Sitting on the...
Brandy, I do not think Malaya knew what she was getting herself into when she moved there, your opinion. Listen. Well, of course she didn't. Of course she didn't. Think about how your day would change if you had to all of a sudden change where you lived just for a moment. Stop what it is that you're doing. Sit down, breathe in, breathe out. Imagine you're on a warm beach in the Mediterranean, listening to the waves. Now imagine for a moment that if you had similar problems to Malaya and Danny, you had to all of a sudden move into the RV with Janie. Daniel knows how fucking annoying she is. Daniel knows what she's like. But he's got no other choice. And he's got to get the hell out of here with Patty and whoever's up in that house. Ain't living here no more. Because Patty wants Daniel to start doing his duty as a man, taking care of the family, taking care of his family, and stop leeching off the kids' milk money every fucking month because he doesn't work. He just sits around and mooches and fucks around, does meth all the time, jerks off in the bathroom for hours on end. So he's got to go back and live with Janie. It's not the best, but he's got to make the best of it. So what does he got to do? Old Faithful. He's got to lie to her. Oh, my mom's just such a fantastic grandmother. It's such a loving home. Oh, on paper, in theory, it's actually, Garlock Road's not a bad place. I wouldn't mind a nice place on Garlock Road, like a nice little house or a little a cabin or something like that. It's not a bad place to live. It's cool. Living out in the country can be cool, but not this fucking place. And it has everything to do with what they've turned it into, a meth paradise. It's like tweaker geographic out here. They fucked it all up. It's not a nice home. It's not a happy home. It's not a place where children would feel comfortable opening up and really exploring what the world has to offer. There's too many other things occurring in their house that cause them to be stressed out. And it has everything to do with this screaming banshee named Janie McKenzie, who's put out into the RV because she doesn't like Malaya, Jack, or Lily. And it has everything to do with, maybe that's what the dog has to do with things. She couldn't have the dog in the house because it was too aggressive. The dog, not Tucker, but the other one we think. We'll come to learn over time, because that's going to be an answer that's going to be easy when video comes out, when we can see what the responding officers walked up on and things like that. Now think for a moment, friends. What do you think would be the major interrupter, the interrupting factor of any of your day, your otherwise peaceful day, your happy, loving day, trying to enjoy it with the kids, watching some cartoons, making dinner, just sweeping up, cleaning, keeping the kitchen, maybe getting some laundry together, doing some household chores, and all of a sudden this nasty old fucking hag walks in your door like the boogeyman and starts bossing people around, taking a shit in the bathroom. It's like, listen, it's her house, and that's what she's going to treat it like. She goes out of her way to let us know her methodology or her mindset that, oh, what takes place in the RV is their business. She's the one who brings all of that up. And she's a known fucking liar, and she's lied every step of the way. She's lying about that too. And that's completely contradictory to their nature.